This how we live. This how we live. This how we live. 'Cause we gotta feed our kids. This is how we live.
All right, hello and welcome everyone. It's yours truly, Blanton, Elijah Leader Banks II, coming to you live today from the Young Humble Millionaires Group, where we are bringing a millionaire to you today to interview and give his view on entrepreneurship and why it's important. What you can expect after viewing this interview is definitely to take your life and or business or both to the next level. So without further ado, I want to introduce today's guest speaker. He's a young entrepreneur. He retired at the age of 23. He's made over $1 million in his industry. He's currently in a power movement right now where they're just taking over the internet completely right now. And he's helped over 10,000 people earn a living working from the comfort of their home. And so without further ado, I want to bring the man of the hour to the screen to share with you the importance of being an entrepreneur. So with that being said, Mr. Chad, Entrepreneur Thompson, welcome, sir.
What's going on? How you?
I'm doing great. First, I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to, do this interview with me. I really do appreciate that. I know time is our most valuable asset, and also want to give it up to God for allowing both of us to make this possible. So, who exactly is Chad Entrepreneur Thompson?
Wow, well, Chad Entrepreneur Thompson is definitely a guy who's been through some of the worst struggles. I'm somebody who was an athlete, a star athlete in my time. I didn't have the grades, one of those stories. I barely graduated high school, and I never really fit in the school structure, the system, the education, because I was always trying to find the money. My dad, he was an entrepreneur. My mother has multiple degrees, so I kind of had both type of mindsets in the house. We wasn't, my family, I'm a product of a single home family, so my dad and my mom wasn't together, but, different mindsets, different mentalities, he was there. So who I am, I'm somebody who had big dreams. I was supposed to go to the NFL, supposed to make millions of dollars. That fell short. And I committed because I seen my mother, people in my family have multiple degrees. And even in their 40s and 50s, they're still paying back student loans. And I just committed at an early age, like 18 years old. I said, I'm not doing the debt first route. Let's try to get rich first route, like my dad. And that's what I did. I followed entrepreneurship, and I started my first business at 21.
Awesome. That's powerful, bro. What, other than your parents, what led you to believe that becoming an entrepreneur was, the way to go? Like that was how you were going to create the success?
Absolutely. It's just the facts. It's so funny because I never really read books in high school. Like I said, I've barely graduated. But once I got out to the real world, and one of my very first mentors, he just told me to just look up Jim Rohn. And as I started looking up Jim Rohn, I started coming across people like Richard Branson and, all these entrepreneurs, Bill Gates. I realized that even though most of the wealthiest people in the world dropped out of college. So me being, I guess, somebody who wanted to go straight to wealth, no debt, I started saying, well, if these guys dropped out of college, one, I don't need to go. So that increased my belief. Just by studying people who's billionaires, millionaires already, and then just studying the facts of the United States. There's 73% of the United States who only have money during income tax time. 68% of the working class, they would never have $1,000 in their bank account. So me being an entrepreneur, I know half of my family don't have $1,000 in their bank account. So if there was $1,000 emergency, like the transmission, the roof leak, I know job people can't afford it right away, or their savings is wiped out. So that's when I get come in as the youngest in the family. Like, hey, I've been telling you, you might want to own your own business. But if not, I'll still help. Right? So it's been able to allow me to help my family. But my mother in particular, she doesn't work a job.
Okay. So to piggyback off that question, I'm sure, like you said, family is one of your biggest motivations right now. What would you say really motivates you, to get up and grind every day? How many hours a day do you put in? And if you could, please describe to me, like, or outline your daily routine.
Definitely family is my biggest motivation. I remember what motivates me every day is the fear of missing out. I've had the time where I didn't have anything. I remember my mother having to, when she lost her six-figure income, and we had to move out of our house that she worked 30 years to get. And then when she was sick in the hospital, they fired her in the hospital. She had like multiple surgeries. She had like 13 surgeries in like 6-month time frame, and she just couldn't physically work anymore because she's trying to stay alive, and they fired her. And when that happened to me, because that impacted me, I had to move all the stuff and everything. She's in the hospital. I said, man, I can never rely on a job, because if I physically, for some reason, can't show up, all they can do is replace me. The job needs, I need the job more than it needs me. So that was a problem. So that's my motivation. It's just never being dependent on one source of income. And my daily activity is, like I say, I make sure I'm up and out of the bed at 8 o'clock. I'm working out, because being financially free, it takes balance. It's not just all about the money. So when you wake up, you can't just focus on the money. It's like you gotta have that all around balance. So I wake up, I pray, I say my daily affirmations. I try to work out, whether it's in the gym, at the house, or just run around the neighborhood. But I have to do something for the health, because health is wealth. And plus, you get a clear mindset when you do something for your body. You do something for your body. Then after that, I put in minimum. Just like when I was a full-time electrician, I was working 8 hours for another person. So I'm at least put 8 hours in for myself. And those total 8 hours is personal development. It's not just all grind. Remember, it's all about balance. So I fit in the personal development at least an hour and a half, where I'm either going to read a book, listen to YouTube, or an audio tape. Like I say, working out, that's key. And I'm going to make connections, because like I said, one of the skills you need is communication.
Definitely.
So I'm a communicate with humans. Because somebody asked me the other day, they said, Chad, how do you get rich? I said, before you think about the result, because being rich is the end result.
Okay.
You must first think about the creation, because the creation is what gets you rich. So I told somebody, you need to ask the question of, how do I make money? Okay. Not how do I get rich? Where is money coming from? And when you really define where does money come from, it doesn't come from trees. It doesn't come from God. It doesn't come from under the carpet. It comes from people. So how do you get rich? Then you ask, where does money come from? Money comes from people. So the next thing is, through conversation, you must solve people's problems so they give you their money. Right? Because if you solve people's problems and money comes from people, and guess what? You solve a person's problem, they give you their money. So I said, you know what? I'm all about the people. I got to figure out how to become a better person. That's the hustle to personal development. Because if I become better, I can solve more problems, make more money.
Definitely. Earlier I heard you say that you afraid of missing out. Is that your biggest fear? If so, how do you manage your fear? And how far are you willing to go to continue to succeed?
Yeah, that is my fear. That is my fear. I am afraid. When I say missing out, I gave myself till 40 years old. I'm 26 today. I've been blessed to make a lot of money, help a lot of people. But I'm still scared to miss out, because I'm not at my full potential yet. There's some people who's going through life. They're just going through the motions. I am growing through everything I go through. So I am in tune with every moment in my life, because I don't want to miss out a moment to grow. Okay. So I am focused. When I wake up, I am focused on anything that happens to me. I'm trying to find out, why did that happen to me? Okay. And how can I grow through this situation, not just go through it? So it's so powerful, man. Yeah, because for example, if I don't, by the time I'm 30, have $10 million in my bank account, and I know I have opportunities to do, I feel like I missed out because there's so many other people making it happen. There's a millionaire being born every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, that's a fact. And it's because they're not missing out on the years of the grind. They're grinding and then it happens. You know, so I don't want to miss out on, because I know someone in this world is working harder than me. And I want their lifestyle, so I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to show them, and not only that, but tell my story. I want to tell my story all across the world, and I will miss out if I don't grind. So the fear of missing out on inspiring other people is just, it kills me. I have to wake up. I jump out of bed. I jump out of bed to go get it because I'm missing out. If I stay in the bed, I am missing out.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I can't stay in the bed. I can't just have one stream of income because I'm missing out. You know, in the Bible, the wealthiest man in the Bible has 7 streams of income.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us, we 6 streams behind.
Definitely. And that's crazy. So as an entrepreneur, what is the best way to achieve long-term success? And do you believe that there is some sort of pattern or formula to becoming a successful entrepreneur?
The best way to achieve long-term, that's a great question. And I had to learn this, is patience.
Okay.
Patience and respecting your process.
Okay.
Because like I said, I started my first business at 21 and failed for 60 days straight. Now when you're young, you want everything fast. So I didn't make any money and I grinded every day. That was tough. But then I had to remind myself, I'm going till I'm 30. I'm going till I'm 40. So I can't look at the days. I have to pace myself for the years. So the patience is going to be key. And respecting your journey, respecting your process, and just knowing everybody's not going to support you. Just knowing that, so respect the process of finding those people who will.
Definitely. I understand that. All right, so I heard you talking about books earlier. What is your favorite book, or what book has inspired you the most?
I would have to say the 48 Laws of Power.
Nice. Definitely. Yep. I've read that book. I love it too.
I live by those laws, bro. I really do.
It's true. It really helps you out a lot. Like, it teaches you how to deal with people a lot.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. People, life. Yeah,
everything. And you mentioned Jim Rohn. That too was mentioned to me when I first started off my career as an entrepreneur. If you could talk to one person from history, who would it be and why?
Definitely Martin Luther King.
Okay.
If I could talk to him, and why? Because one, he didn't die rich. He was the most influential man in the world, and he died poor.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want to the reason why I want to talk to him is because he's one of the most phenomenal leaders. He walked on the street and had 10,000 people following him, walking. So I would just want to see where he got his energy from, what was his motivation, because in his time, he went against all odds. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to figure out what was some of his daily routines to go against, because he went against the worst odds. You know, so and as an entrepreneur, as a leader, not a boss, as a leader, you have to learn that, and that's a skill. So and he had it, because people was trying to kill him, people was all against him. So that's who I would love to just have a conversation with Martin Luther King.
Definitely. What do you feel is the major difference between entrepreneurs and those who are working for someone else, and why?
It's very simple. We both do the same thing. First and foremost, we solve problems. Now this is the difference, for pay or profit.
Okay.
That's it. Entrepreneur, and this is the key though. This is why you should choose to be an entrepreneur, because profits are better than wages. I learned that from Jim Rohn.
Definitely. Awesome. Now you guys are completely dominating the internet right now, like your whole organization. What type of culture exists in your organization? How did you establish this tone, and why do you implement this type of culture in your organization?
Well, first of all, I have to admit I've been an online. Like I said, when I started 21 years old, none of my friends had money and nobody had my same mindset. So I created a Facebook page. I didn't even have a Facebook page. I created a Facebook page just to meet new people. I'm like, oh my God, my friends suck. They're not. They just want to work. Some of them don't even want to work. They just want to stay on probation. Right. So I said, I need a whole new circle. So I created a Facebook to connect with new people. Then I realized that my life is marketable.
Okay.
People love seeing people, and they're so nosy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. People are so nosy. So if you give them something to look at, everyone will look.
Definitely.
So in my mind, being an entrepreneur, I want to give people something to look at and something they can buy.
Okay.
Right? So the way I created the culture was literally, first I had to go through it first. Like I said, I failed for 60 days. Then once I found the formula, right, I got people to buy into it. They started making money. So I turned them from my business partners to my family.
Okay.
And now we're real close. And from 21 to 23 years old, we learned everything together. I had about 30 individuals who rode with me. So when we launched our new campaign, which was 2015, January 2nd, I had 30 people who knew everything I knew. Internet marketing, email marketing, ads, everything. We launched the business, right? And 4 months later, 11,000 people joined.
Wow.
So everybody's doing the same thing. Facebook marketing. We got the best of online marketers, offline marketers, and we're teaching. This is how we create the culture. Remember, we turn them from business to family.
I know with being an entrepreneur comes a lot of sacrificing. What sacrifices have you had to make to be as successful as you are today?
Man, that's a good question. Man, I had to sacrifice my friends. Now my friends are wealthy. Mm-hmm. But when I first started, I had to get away from people who thought small. I had to get around people. And that's a sacrifice, because you only hang around people you can afford to hang around and you're comfortable with. So I had to hang around people I couldn't afford to hang around and I'm uncomfortable being around. And because I was uncomfortable, I remember my first mentor who invited me to her house. $1 million home. This lady said if she made $20,000 in a month, she would be pissed. And when I heard that, I said, I only make that a year. So for me to be in her house, I'm so uncomfortable. I'm sitting on her couch all soft. I'm like, right? I'm eating like, oh my God, I don't want to break anything. Right? But what made me stay in that environment is what made me get comfortable. And that's what made me today, just hearing those conversations, just seeing how she thinks, seeing how she talks. That's what changed everything. And that's a sacrifice, hanging around people you're not comfortable with. But if you want what they want, you have to know what they know.
Definitely. Excluding your own business that you've created, what company or business do you admire the most?
I would have to say Apple.
Apple?
Yeah, Apple.
Definitely.
Completely amazing. And Facebook. Facebook. Like that business, I made so much money on Facebook and it's free. Like Mark Zuckerberg created it. It's just amazing how the tools you can use. So Facebook and Apple. I like Apple because they stay ahead of the curve. They're just taking over. And I love their vision.
Definitely. So like I said, now I know time is our most valuable asset. So before you go, how would you describe your life as an entrepreneur in one word?
Outstanding.
That's awesome. That's
Bless.
awesome. For real. Definitely,
Grateful.
definitely. All power words, man. I definitely agree with you on that. Um, so yeah, before you go, how can people, lock arms with your movement or contact you after viewing this interview if they, want more out of life?
Absolutely. Contact me personally. I work with you personally. My number is 407-965-8175. Call me, text me if I don't answer and say, hey, I heard your interview. Send me some information on your movement. I would love to see if it's a fit for me. And if you're going to work with me personally, I'm willing to give it a shot. I promise you it won't cost you hundreds of dollars. Trust me. Less than a pair of Jordans, you can have your own business. And we can start you on the right track and get you paid next Friday. So if you're one of those people who love traveling the world and you want to work from home, you want to be your own boss, you want to make residual income, call me, text me, I'll get back with you, and we'll work with you because we only get paid if you get paid. So please only call me if you're serious. And you don't have to have experience in entrepreneurship because remember, I started broke. I started with nothing. I started with no friends. I started with literally very minimum support. I had to turn to Facebook, right? That was my support. So if you have the mindset and you know you deserve more, call me.
Definitely. So, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The man himself, Chad Entrepreneur Thompson, giving you his insights on entrepreneurship, letting you in on his lifestyle, and telling you the importance of taking control of your life. I want to thank you, sir, for dedicating your time to this movement and to this interview today. Be blessed, brother.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.